What up? This is Rapids, and so the real reason why the streets are saying that Pooh Shiesty caught Gucci Man lacking is because this is the information that's circulating in the streets, and whatever happened, well, if it's true or not, the point is that the streets would know before the authorities in this situation, because Gucci Man is not going to be running to the police reporting any type of incident like this, like what they're saying happened. So that's the thing, is that's why, we're hearing about this from the streets, because the streets would be the ones that know if this happened or not. And there's also rumors of possible surveillance footage. It's not been confirmed, but there's pictures circulating of this situation that happened with Gucci Man, where he got allegedly got his ring taken and some jewelry, and was forced to release Pooh Shiesty from his contract. So this all started when Pooh Shiesty got released from jail. Gucci Man was already shouting out Pooh Shiesty, talking about, it's going up once he gets home. And Pooh Shiesty released a pretty successful First Day Out video. And, in that video, there's a part where I guess Pooh Shiesty is shouting out Yo Gotti. And that's an issue because Gucci Man has serious issues with Yo Gotti. And so this stems from something to do with his girl or something, where Yo Gotti might have, had a situation with Keisha Dior, or whatever her name is, Gucci Man's wife. And it all started from that, I guess, with Yo Gotti maybe having something to do with her at one time. And so they kind of fell out. That's the word in the streets. So Gucci Man and Yo Gotti do not get along, I guess. And Pooh Shiesty is shouting out Yo Gotti because they're both from Memphis. And so you can't really be cool with your boss's op, if you're going to be on 1017. So I guess after that verse, Gucci must have been kind of backing off of off of Pooh Shiesty and helping him with his comeback, because Pooh Shiesty, he's ready to come back in the game. Like, he's ready to get it back going and get it back cracking again. But I think what happened is Gucci Man must have kind of slowed down on helping him, release anything else after that First Day Out. So now it's a situation where Gucci might have power over Pooh Shiesty's contract enough to where he can tell him when he can and cannot release music. When a label got, control over artists, a lot of times they'll have a lot of control to where the point is the artist can't really release things on their own under their name because a label owns their name. And so Pooh Shiesty, it sounds like he wants off the label. Now, the truth of the situation is starting to kind of surface a little, because Gucci Man did remove a post where he was welcoming home Pooh Shiesty. He had a long shout out for Pooh Shiesty coming home, welcome back, brother, and all that, we back on type stuff. And that post is now released, actually removed off of Gucci Man's social media. So that kind of shows us that there probably is something going on, but to what extent, we're not sure. So did Gucci Man really get forced to remove Pooh Shiesty from his contract? We'll have to see. That's going to be a move that if Pooh Shiesty was behind that, well, I guess he's running with a crew. I guess they're saying, I think it's like Chopper Gang or something. So if Pooh Shiesty is running with a crew that, maybe the crew did it. Maybe it wasn't necessarily Pooh Shiesty, but what we learned from Dirk is, don't be behind nothing. So Pooh Shiesty's kind of playing with fire here if it was his crew that was involved in releasing, getting Gucci Man to forcefully sign a contract to release Pooh Shiesty under duress. If that gets back to the authorities, then Pooh Shiesty could, get looked into as far as, if he was involved behind the scenes in this. But the thing is like I said, if we're dealing with the situation with Gucci Man is not going to be cooperating with the authorities. There's no way he would put his whole career in the trash can by cooperating with the authorities. He knows he has too much credibility to lose if he was to cooperate with the authorities. Now, if he was relieved of a watch, a chain, maybe a ring or anything like that, if that was worth a lot of money, is Gucci Mane gonna be tempted to put in a police report? The thing is, because, you know, a lot of this, a lot of these rappers have jewelry that's insured, but to get your insurance policy for that jewelry, you would have to actually make a report of lost or stolen jewelry. So he can't really put a false police report out. The most he could do is say something happened and just not give him a whole lot of information about who it could have been. He's going to have to pretty much come as true as possible when he's talking to the police, though, and report the situation without giving it away that it might be shiesty, if this is even true, because there was a picture that Gucci released of a ring, but that could be any ring at this point. So as this story develops, I mean, we'll probably find out much more. At this point, Shiesty, he's going to be shelved. If this isn't true, I mean, if Gucci and Shiesty are really going at it with each other, that's going to really ruin Shiesty's career, because Gucci has too much power over Shiesty's career right now. A lot of artists don't understand when they sign those contracts with these artists or with any label. You know, the label has power, and yeah, they're gonna be having enough authority over your career and your name and your likeness to where you can't really make any moves without their cooperation. You know, it can be that bad. So we'll see if Shiesty's even gonna be able to put out anything if this is the case. But if he was released, if there's any truth to him being released, he'll be all right, because he'll be able to release music because he's released from this contract, which would cost Gucci Mane a lot of money, because, you know, he's probably still trying to recoup on his artists. Pooh Shiesty, that's one of his best artists, Gucci was saying, one of his top selling artists. Like he released a lot of his artists from his label because he said he wants to focus on the artists that are actually making money and you know, doing well. So Shiesty and Fugiano, what was his name again? I forgot. Yeah, Fugiano was his top artist. So Gucci said he wants to just deal with artists like that are really popping and buzzing. So Gucci Mane really is trying to, you know, he was trying to focus on Pooh Shiesty and Fugiano, but now with Pooh Shiesty, you know, going through this with him, with Gucci, there's a chance Gucci might be out money, a lot of money, because a lot of times these artist contracts are set up to where the artist doesn't always understand that when they get this contract signed, you know, a lot of that money, the label wants that money back plus interest, you know, plus profit margins, you know. So when the artist is doing shows or selling any music or having their YouTube channel or anything that has to do with money, merch, all that stuff, the label wants their cut, and they want a large cut. They probably want like probably 80% easily out of a lot of the stuff that Pooh Shiesty is able to sell and make money off of when it comes to his music. So the label wants a majority of that money back, and they want to recover and recoup their money that they invested in the artist. So a lot of times artists will be complaining about their contract, but it's like they don't understand. This is a business. They got to get their money back. All that money, the studio time, the videos, the artist features, the beats, the copyright, the publishing, all that stuff needs to be done, and the tours, the shows, everything needs to be done by the, you know, the labels really orchestrating everything. They got everything in motion, ready to go for the artists, and they can operate at a high level to get that artist buzzing and make a name for that artist. So the artist gets on, and then they start thinking, where's my money? It's like, no, the label just invested a lot of money to make you an artist and make you popular, and they want their money back and then some profit. So don't give, you know, I don't know how these artists don't understand that the label's gonna definitely want their money back and then some. You know, they're not doing this for charity. So they make you a star, and then you can't just like walk away and just be, oh, okay, I'm done. I put out an album or two. I'm out of here, because the label's like, no, I need you to be on this label for about 10 albums, 5 to 10 albums, because I didn't just make you so you can walk away and live off the fame that, you know, all that time and money and energy we spent on you to make you a popular artist. The artist forgets that, and they just, a lot of times they want to just walk away after, because the money's not coming in. It's like, no, that money is set up to come in. You know, maybe they're gonna break you off a little 10% or 20%, maybe something like that to live off of. But other than that, the artist, the label wants all their money back. They want to recoup. So the artist doesn't always understand basic principles of a label contract. So, you know, if Pooh Shiesty, you know, he's probably kind of frustrated with that too, with how his contract is, and you know, whatever made him all of a sudden start shouting out Yo Gotti, you know, and riding with Yo Gotti, betraying Gucci Mane, it could have been motivated by his ignorance on having a record contract in the first place. Didn't understand, you know, the principles of having a contract and what the label is doing for you, and appreciate it. You know, some artists just are not appreciative of what the label actually did for them, because the label, you know, they want their money. So now if he's trying to, you know, if Pooh Shiesty and Chopper Gang backdoor Gucci Mane to get him out that contract, it's going to be pretty clear something happened. But I guess more information will probably be coming out. We'll see. Gucci Mane doesn't really talk much. You know, he doesn't really get on interviews or anything, saying anything really. Gucci Mane says less. So I don't know what we're going to get out of Gucci Mane as far as any information. I know so far he's trying to show the world that he still has jewelry, but is that you know, I'm sure he has lots of jewelry. So just because you show a ring after the incident don't mean that's not the ring that was taken, you know. So looks like Pooh Shiesty is allegedly in talks with Yo Gotti to actually switch to Yo Gotti's label, CMG. And you know, he'd be riding out with Glorilla and who's that other dude? They got a few, ESTG and a few others. I think is Moneybagg Yo on that label too. I'm not sure, but I know Yo Gotti got quite a roster compared to Gucci's 1017 label. Yo Gotti really is the more poppin' label, and I would have thought Gucci Mane would have been more of a poppin' label, because Gucci Mane had the streets. He has a history. He's a legend. I would have thought he would have really had a better label, but he's more of an artist. I think what it is Yo Gotti, he fell way back off the music, and it looks like he's focused more on his label. Gucci Mane still puts out music more, like when you're signed to an artist, a lot of complaints are that those labels aren't usually the best. Like you see how Bibby, he fell way off of doing music, you know, Little Bibby, and he's really focused on putting the artists out, putting all his attention on putting their music out. And I think that's when the artist is, you know, usually happier, because you know, they're getting all the attention. When the CEO is actually a rapper as well, a lot of the complaints is that, you know, the artist is feeling like they're not getting the attention, because the label owner is rapping and wants to make sure they're getting all the shine, you know. And I think like Lil Durk tried to do his best at putting out artists, but you know, some can do it, some can't, you know. But Pooh Shiesty, if he moves over to Yo Gotti's label, we'll know something's up, because then we'll be like, okay, this looks like there's some truth to what happened, what the streets are saying happened, because they're saying Gucci was actually forced that thumper point, you know, with a heater to you know, sign over the contract. It sounds a lot like how they said there was rumors when Suge Knight did that to Eazy-E and Dr. Dre and Vanilla Ice. You know, so they're saying Suge did that type of behavior and forced artists to sign contracts or get out of release contracts, or you know, whatever they want. It was like the street game was, the rap game was becoming a lot like the street game. And this sounds like that, you know, where the streets are getting involved in the music game and they're handling it the street way. So we'll see if we'll know something's up if you know, Shiesty ends up putting out music under Yo Gotti's CMG. Then we'll know, okay, something's up. If they just fill out, Gucci could shelve Pooh Shiesty possibly, you know. Now, if Shiesty ignores the you know, saying if they're saying like you can't put out music, I mean, what's gonna stop Shiesty from putting out music anyways? I'm sure he doesn't have even his own access to his YouTube account or anything though. At that point, like I would think the 1017 label, and whoever signed, whoever 1017, whoever their distributor is, you know, their parent company is, they might have full control over Shiesty now. So if, you know, he might be locked out of his YouTube account and might have to, you know, I don't know. That's just what it is, though. This is what's going on with the whole Shiesty and Gucci Mane thing, though. I just wanted to, you know, give you my perspective about everything going on. Looks like Pooh Shiesty's going to link back up with Memphis artists. And actually, they're saying part of why Gucci Mane signed Shiesty in the first place was to get at Yo Gotti. And because I guess he was trying to get, you know, his foot in the door in Memphis, and you know, have eyes and ears out in Memphis, and, you know, be involved with street artists from Memphis so that he could kind of, you know, keep the pressure on with Yo Gotti. So I'm hearing like Big Scar was actually Pooh Shiesty's cousin. And then the other artist I said earlier, Fujiano, I'm hearing he's actually a Memphis artist as well. I didn't really know where he was from. They're saying he's actually a Memphis artist. So Pooh Shiesty, Big Scar, and Fujiano, you know, they were all from Memphis. So Gucci was allegedly, you know, already trying to kind of compete and show his, you know, show what, you know, show that he's involved in the streets of Memphis as well as Yo Gotti, so he can kind of compete with Yo Gotti more. But yeah, that's about it for today, y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. This has been Rap Hits. Make sure you like the video. Let's get over 100 likes. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow Rap Hits on social media and all that. I'm out.